Hi everybody, good afternoon. We are back and all I can say is wow. Why wow? Because we've had such a massive reaction to the Christmas 2022 release from Carnation Crafts. I'm Dave Bradford, if we've not met before. Great to have your company. I'm here once a month with the lovely Carla to launch the latest collection, a new exclusive collection. You can't get this anywhere else apart from us here at Carnation Crafts TV. Whether you're watching us on Facebook, whether you're watching us on YouTube, whether you're watching us, however you're watching us, welcome. We're live for the next hour. Got another show later on at 4 o'clock and loads of demonstrations to come from the lovely Carla as well. Let me show you what this collection is all about. It's probably best summed up if I just pick up one of these amazing manger cards. Look at this. You could be making cards just like this. You could even illuminate them with the rice lights that we've got on the website as well. But this is the complete nativity that you can make into a three-dimensional ornament, a three-dimensional card. It is just glorious. The animals. You've got Joseph, Jesus, Mary. All of the characters, of course, here are included too. Now, let me just explain something. We've got, obviously, at this time of the year, at the moment, everybody's looking after their pennies. We've got the complete collection, which is what's on the screen now. If you want that complete collection, can I just let you know there is a special code that you've got to use. CCFC10, there it is on the screen for you, will get you 10% off that price when you get to checkout. So it will be $179.99. We do have it available on PayPal and also ClearPay if you want interest-free payments on that. But we are very well aware that $179.99, not everybody can run to that at the moment. So we do have smaller collections available for everybody's budget. And this will also give you a good chance to see exactly what's in the main kit too. If I just show you this collection to start off with, this is going to give you the manger. It's going to give you obviously Jesus, Mary, Joseph, the characters and the sheep as well. That together is just $59.99. That's going to give you the dies that will make you cards just like I showed you a second ago, just like that. So if you just want those two together, you just want the nativity, that is $59.99 and it's item number 220613, free P&P because you're spending over £50, and also you're going to be getting, with whatever you purchase today, provided it's over £25, you're going to get 2 Santa's hats dies as well. Now the reason that they're going to be available for you and you'll get them in your basket is that you can obviously put little Santa's hats on the characters like the foxes and the deer and so on. We're going to get to in a second. So that is one option if that's more the sort of price you were looking to spend, 220613. The next collection is just the animals on their own, and Carnation Crafts are really well known for their wonderful animals. The artwork, the design from Nick and the team is absolutely second to none, and that's where the Santa's hats will fit on the robin, will fit on the deer, will fit on the fox as well. And it's a family Christmas. That's what this is all about, Christmas families. So you've got the babies and you've got the mums and the dads there as well. So if that's just the animals that you're after, that's 220602. That is $49.99 plus your P&P. And then if you want to go for the collection without the nativity, why you wouldn't want the nativity, I don't quite get it. But if you don't want the nativity, you just want everything else, the animals, the trees, the foliage, the panels as well, that fantastic Hellebore frame, it's all in there, everything except the nativity. That is 220601, $159.99 with free P&P if you're of course in the UK. If you're watching us anywhere else across the USA, for example, welcome to you as well. Your P&P on this collection is just $4.95. And if you want to add in, say, the perfect papers, for example, that will go beautifully with the artwork here, you can add that in and your postage will be a maximum of $14.95 to get it to you in the USA. And you can order those papers as well if you'd like in the UK too. And they will go perfectly with the colours that are used in the artwork for the vignettes. So that's 220616 if you would like to add in your perfect papers. I'm not here on my own. The lovely Carla's here. How are you, my love?
I'm very well, sir.
Thank you for lunch. I'm very fat.
I'm very full. I feel a little bit like I could do with a little nana nap. If I'm totally honest, we had a very nice lunch, but I'm a little bit sleepy now. Yeah, lovely to have all of your company. I can see you all on Facebook, so thank you for all your comments. Lots of comments saying hi again, Carla, Dave, and Miss Taz.
Yes, Miss Taz is here. Button pusher extraordinaire.
She is. We've got the whole team here. So I'm going to go through the boards with you again so you can see the collection. Those who haven't seen them yet can see the boards and see what all of this is about, and you'll see just like the ridiculous amount of stuff you're getting within this collection. It's huge. I think it's one of the biggest collections I've ever done, which is lovely to see, and it's always nice to see those extra elements, isn't it? So I'm going to go through for you. We'll start off. I try not to ruin the set first. with this gorgeous piece here. So this is your Nativity card. Now, just a note, we were talking about this in the show previously. If you want to know how to put this together, please do watch the YouTube video. It's on the Carnation Crafts channel on YouTube, and there is a full video from this morning. If you watch that, it'll show you how to put this together. And we were having a conversation, and I was saying, you know, you need to do your bases in 350. You do need to have it in that solid standing base. I was talking to Nick on the phone during lunch, and he was like, well, you know, if you print it on 220 and do it as a mirrored vignette, so you would stick it together, then you would have it at 440.
That makes sense.
He's not a genius for nothing. Don't tell him I said it, because I don't like to praise him that much. Thank you, Nick, for your help. So it would even be even stronger than 350, because you would have it at 440. He is absolutely right, of course, and that is the way to go forward with it. Beautiful shape. This just creates the most extraordinary cards, not least on its own as the manger itself, which you can see here, all this depth and dimension where I put that together earlier. We've got the beautiful platform and those 3D elements that come out. It's just incredible. But then also to be able to make those alternative cards, which are just the flat cards, so something along, let me try not to destroy this set.
If you could see all the cards I've got here precariously balanced, it's all going to end up on the floor in a minute.
Like this.
Wow.
Where you've got that extra element here. Look how beautiful they are. Obviously it's designed in such a way that we can hide those tiny lights. If I can pop that on so you can see how that all glows. Look at that. I love this one so much. I've got a little bit of a smitten feeling with it. So that is the manger shape. So that's your main card shape. As always, Carnation always bring one. This one is just knocked out of the park, isn't it? Obviously this is to do with those kind of religious aspects as well, and so it wouldn't be what it is. We've got the little sheepies, the little lambs. It wouldn't be what it was if we didn't have those characters that we know and love so well from, you know, the Christmas story.
But Carla, just look at that artwork. It is absolutely exquisite. And you've
I
got to
wondered
be...
what you were showing me then. I was like, where? This artwork, you mean this?
Yeah. Oh, the facial expressions, everything about it.
I know. I mean, he's so talented, isn't he? And, you know, the whole team, Nick's now got like a crew. It's Nick and his crew. So if you all want to say hello to the crew, that would be ace. They would feel very, very grateful and happy for that. But the whole team are now there under Nick's supervision to create these amazing pieces. And when you look at this and how it is brought together, it is just extraordinary. But it's little things. This is what I love about Carnation. And yes, I can show you the extraordinary frame. I can show you all the things, but I'll say this about Carnation, and this is where they knock it out the park. The hand on the shepherd here has got a little mark. You can just cut where the thumb is.
Oh.
So you don't have to, but you can just cut where the thumb is. You could hang something straight over the top of it, but you can actually tuck his crook in between his thumb and his hand, so it looks like he's holding it. The thumb sort of comes over the top. But also, he can hang the decoupage lamp, which is meant to go where Joseph is here.
That is genius.
But they left this little loop in so that the shepherd can also hold it.
And another thing, you know, I'm sure by now, the vignettes or the artwork that you can print off. If you're buying anything today, you can print that artwork off right now, absolutely free of charge. But of course, Carnation were the first people, as far as I know, to do the reversible vignettes, the front and the back. So now, not only have you got a print on the back of the character and on the front, but if you turn it round, you've got a person looking at the left and a person looking at the right.
I know, brilliant.
So you can play around with the scenes.
Double the money.
Yep.
Double the money. One die does two things, and that's just, it's corking, isn't it? Because it means we can really play with shaping, especially when we're doing those corners and those beautiful elements that come through from the side. It's not a mouse in my house, it's Mr. Dave, who's a very
squeaky, sorry.
squeaky Mr. Dave.
I think it's the Carnation mouse under the floorboards, that's what it is.
It could be, it could be. Or Linda,
Who's Linda?
the hummingbird.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or
I forgot
Phyllis.
who she was for a minute. Phyllis.
How ridiculous, Dave. How did you forget Linda? Then we've got the Hellebore frame, which I absolutely love. This is a real stroke of genius. It is so pretty, and it's got all of these beautiful elements to it. So you've got chunky aspects to this, as well as that fine detail with the filigree. And you've got this crisscross grid that you can kind of just see underneath it that interlaces, so it looks woven. And it looks like pottery artwork to me. There's really, really beautiful. And I'm actually going to demo this first. Now, if you want to see the manger demonstrated, please do watch this morning's show. It's got a full demonstration on there. I'm going to try and get this one done as well today, and if we can try and do another, I will. I've got a piece of something stuck to me, which is not unusual, but you know, there you go. So that is your Hellebore frame.
And that earlier show will be on YouTube for quite a long time, and also on Facebook as well. You can watch it back. And we're doing the main manger again, a later show at 4 o'clock this afternoon, if you want to tune in for that one.
That's exactly correct. So we're going on to those 3D backdrops, which are just gorgeous. Something that Carnation do that I am so smitten with, and they keep bringing out new ones of these, and I love them. So basically, it cuts through so we can take out the little aspects, and they sit forward. They kind of pull forward. There you go. Thanks, Taz. That was some super manoeuvring, Miss Tiz Taz.
She's on fire.
She is on fire. There you go. So all of those aspects pull out. They look just so gorgeous. And then you've got the one which has got the holly leaves. Similar idea. These don't actually pull out with the holly leaves. What they do, thank you, Dave. What they do is wave. Can you see? You get this wave. Now, actually, that was a really good sample to pull up there, Dave, for this one, because when you see this cut in this panel here, as it is, you don't need to use the outside die, and that means we get to be able to cut and cut and cut across a piece of 8x8, so you can make them as big as you want, and that is a real boon when we're crafting. I love that idea. I love the fact that I'm in control. So you can choose to use the panel and have it as it is, or you can choose to just keep building, and I think that is just marvellous.
I mean, the amount you get in this collection is off the scale. It's absolutely incredible, and as I said before, there's something for everyone. If you just want one of the smaller collections, the Nativity, you can buy that on its own. If you want the animals on their own, you can do that too. But what we're concentrating on mainly is the main collection. But please don't forget that 10% discount code. It's crucial that you put this in the promo code box at checkout. Without that, you'll be paying $199.99. It's CCFC10. That takes it down to $179.99. And 3 either PayPal Pay in 3 payments or 3 Clear Pay payments, whichever of those 2 you prefer. Now the trees.
I love these.
Yeah.
There's something really pretty about these, and there's going to be a way of being able to shape these out into a forest in the nicest way. It is that Scandi element. I love it. As I said earlier, somebody pointed out yesterday, it's an upside down ice cream cone, which is, I cannot get that picture out of my head now, but they're just gorgeous as trees. The fact that you've got the different sizes means that you've got a shape to fit any card that you're making, but also you've got that gorgeous kind of perspective idea. So you can have, you know, the ones at the front, and then it goes back to those tiny ones at the back, so you've got the beautiful perspective going down, so you could create almost like an avenue of trees. Also those forest elements, especially when you start bringing in the stag, stuff like that, you can make the most incredible designs with this.
And also you could have green trees if you use green cardstock. It doesn't have to be that colour. Obviously that's the vignette, the artwork you can print off right now free of charge. Yeah, go online and get those printed. I think the fact that you can cut it in any colour, mirror card, all of those different things, silvers, can you imagine? Do you know what this would be really amazing with? You probably won't have seen it, but Nature in Motion, look at me remembering names of collections. Nature in Motion, those silver birch frames, the nested dies. I think I did do that collection. I remember it.
Those nested, did you do it? And to be able to put these trees on the silver, that would be amazing.
Very nice.
Sorry, I'll stop talking now. My brain went on a little trip then. But that would be incredible. And if you cut them both in the same colours, white on white would be incredible. Just saying. Then, look.
Now this is where I think Carnation really go overboard. Look at the families of robins we've got, of deer we've got, and the foxes too. So cute.
Just gorgeous. You've got your wee little chap. It's their hairdos, look. Do you know who he reminds me of, this one? I don't know if anybody at home agrees or if you even know who I mean. You know on Pirates of the Caribbean film, and there's the guy who's like Jack Sparrow's friend, and he's got like lamb chops, you know, the sideburns and a bit of a mad hair. Look.
Yeah, I can see.
It's him.
Yeah, I can see.
It's him. It's him. Look, he's got his little sideburns. He's got his mad hair. I love him.
Do you know what,
he's my favourite.
Robins mean so much to so many people for so many different things.
Not everybody will think of Jack Sparrow. It's just what he reminds me of. Robins are very symbolic. They will always be symbolic, always have, and we can use them all year round. I said this morning, I said it yesterday, and I will say it again. There are only the manger card shape, the religious characters, and the sentiment that says Merry Christmas. That's the only 3 aspects of this whole collection that are purely Christmas. The rest of it is an all year rounder. You can use it at any time. And that is important when we're buying. It's important, and I love it for that. Bear in mind, with all the animals, you do have the outside die that comes around as well. A card can be made purely from there. So for instance, you would cut this outside shape twice, you would score it along the edge here, and put them together as a wood and normal card base, pop this on top with one of those sentiments. You've just made a Christmas card, very, very quick, but he would be a gorgeous, gorgeous little mini Christmas card.
Wouldn't he be?
So there are lots of ways to play. You know, never ever feel with Carnation that your cards are going to be too complex. They are it's never hard to make a Carnation Crafts card because they're just beautiful.
Now look at the proud parents and the cute little babies. Aren't they just adorable?
I love these. I love foxes so much. Ball tools on these are incredible, by the way, because it comes to life. I don't know if you can see, you can actually see it really well there. All these tiny little cut marks that Nick and the team have put in, and especially here around that white area of fair, that is all going to be able to use with your ball tool, which is going to make it really fluffy looking. It brings it to life. Every single one of these tiny dink lines here are not there just as a visual to create the image of fair, but are also there to allow that paper to give with your ball tool so that you can create those gorgeous things. So that is that.
Next family, the deer.
Look at these.
Look at the one with the antlers, really lovely.
That's knockout, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is out of the park knockout. His face, so beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Then we've got obviously the wee standing baby, the sitting baby, which is just so cute.
And of course you can put those in with the manger if you want to, and not use the characters that we talked about earlier on. So that's all sorts of ways of using them. I'll show you some more finished samples fairly soon. That gives you some more ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. Just stunning. We're still not done with the boards though. And just to keep going through. And then we have got this.
Now, this doesn't have to be Christmas. This could be a wedding, it could be a christening, anything like that. And of course the houses are all year round for any reason.
All year round for any reason. I think as well, the only aspect on this which we could say, well, it's probably Christmassy. Obviously you've got the little Christmas trees, but is this. But if you are to cut that star down, it would just create a normal star. Actually, that would be a really nice embellishment piece if you cut those corners down, wouldn't it? Just beautiful in the corner of a card. You've got all the little houses. I love the church. Really, really am in love with that church. There's something about it. And then obviously you've got all the little aspects. I think for me, I love houses that have got the 2 windows and the door in the middle. There's something that it reminds me of a face. And I've always loved double fronted houses. And I think that's why I love that so much. It really appeals to me, that church. I think it's super pretty and really beautifully done. We go from there, and then if I can get hold of the board, these are just incredible sentiments.
I love the from our family to yours. That could be for any reason, couldn't it?
Literally any reason, any time, and it's such an incredibly, you know, heartfelt sentiment. There's something really lovely about it. The Merry Christmas I love because of the size of it, because there's so many Christmas sentiments, isn't there? And there's only so many ways that you can say Merry Christmas. And I assume anyone who's been crafting for any length of time will have sentiments for Christmas already. So then how do you make them different? How do you make them special? Well, one thing that Carnation does really well is look at the market and see where we are lacking, and they fill that gap. So you've got that here with this font, this large size sentiment, which I love. But then from our family to yours, I think that's just because we're not all religious. And you know, some of us are, some of us aren't. So in order to be able to provide for everybody, that sentiment says so much for any time of the year. It's not about Christmas, and I really enjoy the fact that I can do both.
And that's also another reason why we've done these separate collections. So if you don't want the religious nativity, you don't have to have it. You could go for the option with the robins and the deer and the foxes. If you go for all of it, you're going to get all your bases covered, really, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have got these gorgeous presents. I love these. I love, 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 love these. Think of the big tree that we had, the largest of those sort of Scandi trees, or in fact use one of each size, and think about putting these in front of them at the front. They're so cute. Those Scandi trees are gorgeous, cut in white as well, I will say, with these at the front of them, because that colour impact as that sits in front of those trees and all the cut lines in the trees just is a really breathtaking scene. So do think about doing that as well. The final board.
The final one.
Foliage. I love this.
Foliage.
I love this more than the robin with the hairdo. I think, Carla, I love the houses that look like a face, except for maybe the Amityville house. Yeah, Tanya, I agree. Actually, I quite like the look of the Amityville house. I just want to live there. I just saying, there was flies. I don't like the flies. I don't like the flies.
We've got loads of messages coming in on Facebook. We'll read some out in a second. Thank you for those.
So this is just incredible. As you can see with this, when Nick shaded it, so he has done the shade lines sort of in each half of the leaf, it makes it look real. Can you see how that would look like it's got a light source on it coming from this direction? It just looks real. It's beautifully done. These I used loads when I was creating the demos. I really took to them, and these two were my other favourites. These make beautiful wreaths, and I did make a full wreath just out of those by putting them round and then using the little poinsettias. How do you say it? Thank you, you do it. Then this bow I used a ton, but what I did with this, for a lot of them I used it as it was. For other ones I glued two together, so it created one massive bow, and it's really beautiful when it's together as well.
Well, that is the entire collection. Do remember, all the artwork, if you're new to Carnation Crafts or you didn't realise, all the artwork to go with these dies is a free print off from our website. All you've got to go is to carnationcrafts.co.uk, go to the download section, and you'll see a section there where it says vignettes, or there we are, vignette downloads. Click on that and it will show you all the vignettes that are there, all the artwork that's there to print off absolutely free of charge. And you can, obviously you can get these dies if you order them now in a couple of days. We're very, very quick at sending them out. The guys at Carnation are fantastic at dispatching. But you can actually sit down there today, flick through the sheets, admire the artwork, and look forward to your order arriving in the next few days. Hi, good afternoon, Dave and Carla and Taz. I'm ready for another dose of this wonderful collection. Can't wait for mine to arrive. That's Karen Vincent. Jenny West says, hello again, Carla, Dave and Taz. Lost internet on the earlier show, so fingers crossed. Glad to know you're watching us now. There's another one here. Hello again, love this collection. Printing off all the vignettes while watching with one eye, looking out for the postie. And Mary Elizabeth Watt says, hi again, Carla, Dave and Taz. Enjoyed the first show very much. Ordered 220601, that pack, and looking forward to it dropping through my letterbox. Thank you for all the fantastic demos.
Yay.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, I've got to let you know, earlier today we started at 10 o'clock this morning with half the stock gone. Since then, very, very, very big response to the first show and to this show as well. 65% of the stock gone. If any collection is eagerly awaited every year, it's the Christmas collection, especially from Carnation Crafts. It's very special. Now, before we go into demo, I just want to show you a few more finished cards. Hello to all the design team, by the way, because they've all done a fantastic job with these. I'll show you traditional cards, and I'll show you some of the more three-dimensional cards. That's a beautiful one. See, you're going to get your bonus Santa hats. You're going to get 2 Santa hat dies if you spend over £25 on the show today, and that's what these are for. So you can actually pop them on the heads of the deer or the foxes or the robins, and they look fantastic. And that artwork is also on the website to print off. Here we've got some more the family of foxes again, which is absolutely lovely. Barbara Treadwell, who messaged in this morning, she's done that one for you. Gorgeous. But it has to be, I think the cards that steal the show have to be these. The ones that have got the manger. Now, there's the one without the nativity. It's just got the deer in it. I think that looks equally as gorgeous with those wonderful trees. And if we are able to dim the lights down in the studio, I don't know if we can this time round. Where's the switch on this one? Can't see the control.
Other side.
I can see it on the telly box.
Oh, got it. Here it is.
There you go.
There it is. Okay. You can see why Taz is in charge of lights and not me. Let's dim it down and let's show you what you can do. This is not just a card, this is an ornament. This could be an absolute ornament to come out every single year, to put on the dresser, to put on the coffee table, in the middle of the dining tables. The lights go down in Carnation Craft Studio. Look at how romantic that is. Absolutely beautiful. I think because I work in bright lights all day, Carla, in studios, I like to have mood lighting when I'm at home.
Dim lighting. Actually, I have to say, I am actually the opposite. I like natural light.
Okay.
And I like floods of it. I don't know what it is. I love being in daylight.
Oh, I love daylight, yeah, but certainly in the evening I like to have the lights down.
Oh, you see, even then, if I could have it light all the time, I would. There's a country, isn't it, where it never goes dark. I need to go and live there.
Is it Iceland?
Is it Iceland?
I think it might be. Yeah.
Iceland.
Iceland. But for me, there's something. there's certain things that are really evocative, aren't they, of Christmas? And it's those, you know, when it's really grey outside and you know it's going to snow. It's got that really heavy feeling in the air and you can see it in the sky. And you're sitting with the lamps on and you've got the twinkle of the Christmas tree lights. That's what these all remind me of. So they're so evocative of that. And I will say I'm not averse to that kind of lighting with a hot chocolate. It's all very nice. Hot chocolate in a selection box.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now you're talking.
Know, there's all of those elements, aren't they? It's really difficult to turn your brain to Christmas in the middle of June. We completely understand that. For those of you who are new into the crafting world, this might seem like the most crackers kind of show you've ever seen in the middle of June on the hottest day, with us talking about Christmas. But historically, Christmas happens in June across the craftiverse.
If you think about it, is Christmas your busiest season for selling your cards or for making the gift? If that's the case, you've got to get cracking late summer at the latest to get ready for the craft fairs in October, November. So that's why we always do it. And we are, as far as I'm aware, I've not seen any other Christmas collections launched yet. I think we're the first, or one of the first.
As far as I've seen.
Yeah.
I know when I was doing the Facebook Live, I can't remember who it was, so I do apologise, but somebody actually messaged on there, commented on the Facebook feed and said that while they were watching me do the preview, they were making their Christmas cards. And I think that's the thing, because I'm going to be totally hand on heart honest with you. The idea for me trying to get organised for Christmas right now, when I do everything on Christmas Eve, it's not going to happen. But I do know that most crafters,
You do everything on Christmas
everything
Eve?
on Christmas Eve.
Everything? Really?
Including the shopping?
I do the food shopping. I buy the kids presents on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
I do the lot on Christmas
My
Eve
other half
every year.
It's done and dusted by the end of September.
Yeah, I do mine by about October.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
No?
No.
Is that a genuine thing?
Oh yeah. Hi Carla, I love the houses. That's Tanya Melton. Pauline Ellerington says, hi Carla and Dave, currently at the allotment sweltering, so we'll catch up later. Well, we're in the studio sweltering, believe me. Yeah, do catch up later, certainly, Pauline. Also, Anne Culcutt's watching. Good afternoon, loving your shows from Mags Brown. Wherever you're watching, we are live. We do this quite regularly here at Carnation Crafts, and I come along for the launch shows once a month. And this is the most eagerly awaited Christmas family launch from Carnation Crafts, and it's available today. Remember, before we go into demo, I just want to remind you, if $179.99, which is what the price will be with that code, CCFC10, put that in the promo box, you'll get your 20 quid off. If that's too steep for you at the moment, even on maybe 3 PayPal payments or 3 ClearPay payments, you can opt to go for one of the smaller collections if you want to. Now, provided you're spending over £50, it's free P&P. If you're spending over £25, you will automatically get 2 Santa hat dies included. You haven't got to put them in your basket. The guys will just dispatch them with your order, and again then you can of course decorate the hats on the characters that we come on to a bit later on. The Nativity one though, with Mary Joseph, the Shepherd and the King, all of those plus the main manger die set, that's $59.99, free P&P, and you'll get your 2 Santa hats as well. 220613 your item number. The other collection, for those of you that really just love the animals, and this is what Carnation I think do the best, the foxes, the deer, the robins. Again, this is $49.99. You are spending over £25, so you'll get 2 Santa hat dies to fit onto the characters as well. That's if you just want the animals, the deer, the foxes, and the robins. And then the next collection we've got for you is everything less the Nativity. So everything minus that, okay? You're going to get the lot apart from the Nativity if you go for 220601, and that's what we heard from someone earlier on, said that they bought, who was that again? I can't remember. Yes, but that was bought by someone on Facebook earlier on. 220601, $159.99, free P&P, and you'll get your 2 Santa hats as well. But the big collection is where you save the most money. And remember, the CCFC10 promo code is for anything in this show. Anything to do with the Christmas collection, that is a special 10% off code. So if you're going for any of those other collections, any of those other bundles, you can use CCFC10 at checkout, okay? But there's the main collection, everything there. 220634 is your item number.
Miss Taz, you've got your hand up.
Viv on YouTube says she's had an email, the order is on its way.
Yay!
A lot of you who've ordered it today will get it tomorrow.
Yeah, no word of a lie. Your order goes in, the guys are out packing it straight away, picking and packing your order the minute that you place that order. That's how efficient Carnation Crafts are. So yeah, you might well get them tomorrow, postage allowing, obviously.
I will say that after the show earlier today, I tried to ring Mark, who is one of the bosses at Carnation, and he did not answer, and which is very unusual. And then he didn't ring me about 40 minutes. Mark, if you're watching, Not acceptable, just saying. And when he eventually rang me back, he was like, well, I'm very sorry, we were packing orders from this morning, which not good enough. But you'll get your orders very soon.
Oh, they're really hands-on, aren't they?
Oh, no, they are full on. Like, you order it and they are picking it, they are packing it, and they are posting it. They are getting it out straight away. Carnation, never fail on that.
I don't have a name on this one, Carla, so I can't credit whoever made it. But look at this. This is why you're going to get the Santa hats when you spend over £25. Look at this fox. The Fox family, each with their little Santa hats on there as well. So this is the actual manger for the Nativity, but used in a totally different way.
I know, I love that. And the fact that you can use that card in just variations. So one of the things that I will say is the archway on that, if you cut away the bricks at the bottom, it fits exactly and precisely on the Hellebore frame. So you can actually merge the two on there cool. as well. So one of the demos I've got will outline that, not the one that I'm doing right now, but the actual archway here fits exactly and perfectly on the Hellebore frame. So they work together seamlessly.
And just to remind you, the 10 o'clock show we did this morning, that was featuring the manger with the Nativity. So if you want to see how to put that together, you can watch that back anytime you like. And the one that we're doing later at 4 o'clock will feature the manger, but without the Nativity characters, it'll feature the deer, won't it?
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to do we're going to try and style things up differently. So I'm going to do a Hellebore demonstration now, so you can see that one in action. But there is a question here. I do want to just tackle this one before we go into demo because it's an important question. So there is a question from Patricia. Thank you, Patricia, saying, will there be another Christmas launch later this year? Now, for any of you that follow the craft industry or follow Carnation, and you have done for some time, you will know that most companies over June will release 2 launches for Christmas. That's the standard format, really. Carnation always do it. You'll know if you're a Carnation fan that they release 2 launches every month. Anyway, that's what they do. And so in June, instead of that being, you know, two like we had Wild Wonders, didn't we, and Nature in Motion, this time it'll be 2 different Christmas launches. This one being first, the next one being the next. So it's exactly the same as normal, it's just that they're Christmas themed.
But remember, this one is exclusive to Carnation Crafts TV at the moment for at least a fortnight. So you won't find this anywhere else for another couple of weeks at least.
And the other answer to that question as well is there will absolutely not be a USB with this on it in September.
Right. Uh-oh, I feel a phone call coming on.
Yeah, you and me both. Oh well. You're quite welcome, Patricia. I hope that answered your question.
Okay.
So the Hellebore frame, what we're going to do is cut the large die on the outside, which is the outermost shape on that Hellebore frame. We're going to cut it twice, and this is going to give us our card shape. Those of you who know me and my demo style already know this, but we are scoring at 1/2 inch thereabouts. I sometimes give a bit extra if it's got a wavy bit on the bottom because I need to get my red liner tape on. So measure your red liner tape, make sure it'll fit. And all we're going to do is pull that back towards your body. You're always keeping it towards your body, and we're going to take the red liner tape off the top and pull it away. Keep that kept to your body, but lift it. Take your other piece, put it in front, shuffle. That is kept towards me at all times. It cannot accidentally stick to this piece. That's why we always fold it back. We're going to shuffle those together, push it against the bottom of my silicone mat, and I am just going to then place that down. That gives me perfect placement at the top. It means my card base is all sorted, and I can have that as a tent base either vertically or horizontally, whichever way I want to make my card from, which is super, super useful. So that is your card base. All card bases are generally made in the same way. What I will say is if I'm working on a card that's horizontal, and I think I am at this point, what I would generally do is always turn it this way until you've got your mats and layers on. You might work differently to me, but it's easier to put your mats and layers on when they're in this orientation than they are on the other. Then I'm going to take, so this is one of those perfect, I love this card. This is one of those perfect papers, okay? So you've seen us talking about the perfect papers already. You can see them there on your screen. The perfect papers are not papers, it is cardstock. It's 300 GSM. There are 6 sheets of colours, 6 different colours in each one, and you get 8 of each, so you're getting 48 in total.
And this is such a must-have add-on to your order if you can run to it, because all the colours here have been hand-selected to complement the artwork from the vignettes. So if you're struggling in your craft from normally to find cardstock that matches or that goes with it, this takes all that effort and strain away. You're not going to have colour clashes. You get a total of 48 sheets, 6 colours, 8 of each, $14.99. Add it into your order. If you're watching this in America, by the way, your P&P on the main collection is $4.95, but if you add this into your collection, it will be a maximum of $14.95 delivery to the US. Okay, 220616.
So once we've got that, I've stuck that the fretwork, if you like. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, fretwork.
Fretwork on top. That's not the word I'm looking for. It'll come to me in a minute. On top of here, and so you can see it going through. Now, what I want to say, particularly about the Hellebore frame, I've told you how much I love this one, and there's good reason for it. Not only do I get these massive chunky aspects, but when I have these massive chunky aspects, it means I can hide foam tape underneath them, which means I can raise it. You know how much I love shadow play. This is just incredible. Now for this one I have laid it flat because I'm gonna do a little tuck in with it, but I just wanted to sort of point that out to you that you have got all the space to hide that foam tape. You're gonna get the shadow play and you're gonna get that dimension in your card.
Now, although Carla, this is our Christmas launch today, that frame to me is a completely all year round purchase.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It is just, you if we hadn't had it in a Christmas collection, you would never think of it as being a Christmas frame. It's just beautiful. So I've got the 3 panels on here, and I've used 3mm foam tape on this. And the reason I've used 3mm, if I hold this up this way, you can see that depth that I've got there for my 3mm foam tape. And it's to lift it, it's to raise it, because I want some shadow play on it, but I also want that chunky look to it, because that's how I like to make my cards. So once I've got my 2 tabs here, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to use the yellow of the liner tape just to use as a slip and slide. Never take the piece off the middle. It's only there for support. It's not there to stick. Plus I will say, if you put a sticky in the middle, you might get yourself onto, excuse the pun, a sticky wicket when you try and actually stick it down. So I keep that there, and then
Clever.
I use those 2 pieces there, and I'm going to use that as my slip and slide. Now, once again, I will give you the terrible excuse, but very true excuse, that because the camera is above me, I cannot put my head forward to see whether I've got this straight. So I'm working from a monitor in front of me.
Looks
so
good to
if
me.
it's not quite right, I apologise. But you're going to put your fingers here and you're going to push, pull. And that's going to give you your perfect mats and layers every time. You can't go wrong if you use that technique.
I do love that colour combination. That green and that white.
Isn't it? I mean,
Classy.
when we're showing you the boards for the Hellebore frame, the boards themselves are beautiful, but when you see it sort of as it's laid out on there, you don't get quite the same impact that you get when you're looking at it with a colour underneath it, and especially when the colours are that pastel. So if I put the board here, because the sort of red merges into the back at the back, at the black at the back, you're sort of losing the massive impact that you get when it's on colour, because you've got that beautiful drawing down. It absorbs that white into the most gorgeous flow on your card. So I love it so much. So I'm going to play with it this way. Now, when I was gluing this down, what I'm always aware of is how little glue I want to use. I never want to use a lot of glue, but also the fact that I don't need to put any glue on my fretwork, because I can have the shadows from it and enjoy those shadows, but also I've got enough space behind these larger areas to put glue. I don't need to worry about it anywhere else. What that means is that I have got enough room here to tuck any little pieces in that I want to. So I'm leaving that free edge because it means I can work with that extra bit. I can play with the extra space that I've got, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. So I'm just going to place that there. You know I get excited when the ball tools come out. So I've got my little ball tool and mat, or my set of ball tools here.
Now remember, the ball tools are brilliant for giving the characters, the animals, the shape, that definition. And Nick and the team always make sure that the right amount of cuts have actually been cut with the die into the character, so it makes it easy to give you that kind of 3-dimensional doming of the belly and the head and that sort of thing.
So what we're going to look at here, I'm just popping those there so you can see. So the first thing we're going to do is just have a very quick conversation around the animals and why I sculpt them the way they sculpt them, so that you know when you're at home to do the same way if you want to, or at least understand my reasoning behind it. Because it's not just a case of taking a ball tool and just kind of making a bit of a shape, because if you take your time, take a couple of minutes just to work it through, you'll understand the difference it makes. So when Nick does these, or the team, they create the musculature, the skeleton you can see underneath. That full work is there. It's not just one band of colour. You have the shading lines that create the muscle tone of that body, and they're there for a reason. It's obviously to make it visually more pleasing. But actually, as somebody who sculpts paper, what that does is give me a visual guide of where I need to place my ball tool every time. For instance, I know that this line here is going to separate out this panel, this sort of midsection here.
How do you know what size of ball tool to use?
So your ball tool is always going to depend on the size of paper that you're working with. So for instance, if I was to take the mini size that I've got here, and I was going to go around the whole of his body, I'm going to take an age to do that because it's too small, but also the problem that I'm going to have is it's going to just crease my paper. It's going to make a mess. It's going to make an awful mess. However, if I was doing the eye, that's exactly the ball tool I would use because it's the right size. If I was to do the inside of his ear, that's exactly the right size.
So look at the area that you want to sculpt and then take the ball tool accordingly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just start to understand the nature of paper. The first thing you remember about paper is that you are in control of it. It is not in control of you, despite what it'll tell you as you're trying to sculpt through. Also remember that with anything, if you were going to learn to knit, if you were going to learn to crochet, if you were going to learn to if you were going to learn how to make cards, because I know you've all done that in the past, you don't get it right first time all the time, and that's okay. It's a learning curve. We have to practice.
And don't beat yourself up if you do get it wrong. No. It's a bit of card at the end of the day.
Enjoy your mistakes. They're the most important and beneficial thing you'll ever make in craft. Mistakes are the best things you'll ever make in craft. My end of. Right, what we're going to do is look at how we're going to just break this up. And the reason I'm going to go into detail in this one, I will not with the rest of them, is just so you've got that grasp. But can you see how this is round here? We've got that round shape. Now, if I go into the center of that and I just start to use my ball tool, what's going to happen is it's going to dip in the center and it's going to crease on the edges because I haven't broken the fibers of the paper. You have to break those fibers first. So what I'm going to do is take this size ball tool that I've got here, and you get 8 different sizes of the ball tools with the Carnation set. So you've always got the ones to go through. I'm going to start under his ear and I'm just going to work down the edge here. I just had a very weird flashback of a dream I had last night, which is very strange. None of you need to know about, but it had something. I'm
intrigued.
Something to do with the spar. It was very weird. Anyway, I'm just going to work my way along this edge, and then I'm going to come across. So where Nick has put the shade, don't ignore Nick's shade. It's there for a good reason. I'm just going to run my ball tool down here. I'm very gentle as I'm doing it. I'm not putting much pressure on. It's just enough to create an indent. And if those of you who are, you know, very sort of visual, you'll see that as I did that, his bottom raised off my mat because he's no longer flat. I've created a dome, and the most of it is resting on this piece because that's the piece that I've put in.
And if you've never done this technique before, if you've always had flat characters on cards, give it a go. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes.
You will. So then what I'm going to do, in fact, Gary Parkinson, if you watch, I'm sure that's your surname, Gary. I do apologise if it's not, but Gary made an incredible card where he said he'd just started using his ball tools in the Carnation Crafters group. It makes a huge impact. So I'm just running now towards the centre on both sides of that fur. I'm pushing that body out, that beautiful sort of piece of fur at the front, which has a name and I can't remember it. I'm pushing it out.
You can really see how domed his chest is now, can't you?
So this is... Now, normally when I'm demoing, I don't take this amount of time. I'm doing it because the main part of this collection that you're purchasing, or one of those main parts, focuses on these animals. So let's then do the same here. Now, what I'm going to do is I've broken the fibers here. So I'm going to use the smaller ball tool to go at the other side and create definition on that line. So I'm creating a different line. I'm not touching that shaded piece. So I'm just using that to create that line. Then I'm going to go in with the bigger piece and just go around my edges and just around here, and I'm going to use that muscle line again. So I'm working in this small area here.
So the artwork gives you the clue where to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that little curvature line, I'm using that as a separate area. Even though it joins here, I can, if I want, take a ball tool and take that round. That's up to me. It's a decision I can make. And then the last piece, of course, is just to do his rump. So we start by breaking those fibres on the outside of the paper. Remember, we always have to break those fibres. Then we're just going to follow that curve.
It looks like
in.
the deer's looking at you saying, what are you doing?
Get off my bottom. And we're going to do it like that. Now he's really curved up now, and you may think, well, you know, was there any point doing all those little elements? Very hard to pick up on camera, but when you see that in real life and you see those elements all broken up and the different ways that it moves, you'll suddenly go, oh, that's why. Yeah. Because it becomes 3D. You've got all of those different things. You don't have to do it, but man, it makes a difference when you do. Now there's a cut line on his rump. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Maybe if I put it here, you might see it better.
Yeah,
can you see
yeah.
When I open, there's a little cut line here. That means I get to push his rump forward. So I am now going back on the work that I did, so he's still curved, but I get to make that its own unique piece. And this is where Nick's cut lines come in, because everything is done in order for me to be able to craft in a way that is the most successful and brings out the most of the sculpting, the paper sculpting. Again, he's got cut lines round his little neck here, so I can bring his head forward and bring that round. What that means is I've just brought Nick's artwork, which is incredible in the first place, even more to life.
You've brought it to life,
that's
absolutely.
Sculpting. So that's why you take the time. I'm not going to do all the other ones because we won't have time for all of that, but I did just want to run through that with you. Lots of people have been asking me about it. A lot of people have been asking why I bother doing it. The reason I bother doing it, if I'm going to take an hour to make a card, I'm going to take an hour and a half to make the card even better.
I didn't even know why those cut lines were there for a long, long time until you explained it to me. No one else did. So I just thought they were there for decoration. They're there so you can actually get dimension to those characters, whether it's a human being, whether it's an animal, whether it's a mouse, whatever it might be.
And I can't talk to every company, so I can't tell you that, you know, Carnations, I don't need. How can I phrase that politely? I don't need to use the company's dies because I just use Carnations. I've got enough to be able to build. And they're the ones that I trust the quality of, so I just stick with Carnation. You know I'm a freelancer. I can work for whoever I want. I like the quality of Carnation. It's where I choose to stay. But those cut lines, when I've used Nick's cut lines and the artwork, that break in the paper that he gives me when he breaks up that muscle, that's important. So that is then what makes me be able to make it art instead of just craft. Just craft is art, but you know what I'm saying. It gives me choices. Right, what I'm going to do is put some foliage behind here. I said to you I had little areas that I can use to tuck, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I've got this beautiful green foliage here, and I love that against that green background. There's something about it.
And do bear in mind, there are individuals available as well. Obviously, the best value is to buy the big bundle. That's where you get the discount. But if you just want the foliage collection that's in here, you can find that on the website as well. You can find the deer on their own on the website as well. And you can find the smaller collections we've put together with a discount too. So it's all there at carnationcraft.co.uk.
I kept thinking, why is there no glue going onto that? Because I was dipping into my dry glue. It was not working. Right, I'm just going to tuck there. Just right there. Put that down. See how I leave all this free and easy?
Yeah.
That's going to create shadows. Okay, I'm going to do exactly the same. This Hellebore frame is stunning.
And please don't wait until your dies come home before you actually print off the vignettes. Do it today. You know, it's our thank you to you. That artwork is there for you to enjoy. Print off now as many times as you want, free of charge. And even the artwork for the foliage as well is on there.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything
is all on there. Get it downloaded, get it printed. Don't forget your free backing papers. They're free.
Oh yeah, of course.
The free backing papers make such an enormous impact. Now, what I'm doing is creating a faux forest here. So I'm not trying to do it with trees. I'm trying to create the idea of a forest. So the idea of height, that's all I'm doing. So I'm not worried about whether they're actually trees, whether they're not trees. What I'm trying to do is create what appears to be kind of a winter scene, right? So I'm just tucking in these foliage pieces. So again, I'm going through, just placing. You see how we start that white with that green, we're starting to play with colour tone. Now the green's very dark against the green of the background, so I need that white pop. So notice how I didn't stick this all the way down. I'm just going to tuck those over. You see how I start to get the idea of visual tree line, and all that is a trick of the eye, because that white looks like a tree. And that green gives you the colour of the tree, and your eye puts them together and gives you a tree line. It's just an easy trick. Then I'm going to go in with the same piece. You know I love my symmetry. I know not everyone does. It's just how I like to play. And I'm going to go in at this side, create that symmetry, push that down, pull that over.
Hi to Suzanne Page, says, hi Carla and Dave and Taz.
Hey,
sorry
Suzanne.
I'm late. That's
No,
all right,
never
we'll
be
let you
sorry.
off. Yeah, don't worry.
It's you can always catch up as well, Suzanne, but it's always good to have your company.
Yvonne Nash says, hi Carla, Dave and Taz. Such a lovely set. I'm back on the naughty step. It's getting smaller with every set. Please, 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 can you ask Nick for some people and children to go with the sets?
People and children. Nicholas, if you are watching, might I suggest you get your pencil out, sir?
People and children, please.
And I'm just going to place. So we've got this beautiful sort of element here, and by piecing white, green, white, green, white, green, so on and so forth, or with the white and the green here, what we do is allow that to draw back into the background, but with the impact of the green coming forward. So we've created that element. What we want are these to be the stars of that show.
Oh, they are.
They're going to make the difference to my card. What I need to work out first is placement. She's standing, so I need her to be in the background, because if I put her in the foreground, she's going to sit at a funny angle to the one behind. So I want her back leg to be behind. So that's the way I'm going to play it. Now, normally I would shape her out, but we don't have time for me to do each and every deer.
Now, if you are happy with the way that they're looking left or looking right, fine. But remember, with the double-sided vignettes, that artwork that's on the website free, she could be looking the absolute opposite way. So that's the benefit that you get from the double-sided vignettes.
Absolutely. Definitely. So I'm just placing her there. She's so pretty, those delicate little legs that she's got. Like a little ballerina, like my good self, Dave.
Absolutely. Hello, Cindy Merrill Smith. She says, good morning from Utah. Hello.
Hello.
I can't wait to get this set, she says. I thought last year's Christmas collections were amazing, but this one is even better. I'm going to have to build a bigger craft room to hold all the Carnation Crafts collections and papers. Nice one, Cindy. Glad to know you're watching and you've got it. It's on its way.
So, excuse me, this little chap here, who is just stunning, isn't he? So he is perfect for standing in front of this one and his little lugs coming off the top. He's very, very inquisitive and curious, which I love. He's got the most beautiful eyes. She really, and his face is just incredible.
He's a very proud dad, isn't he?
Isn't he just? So we're going to place this busy little bee right here next to Mum. Look, and then I'm going to take Littley here. Now I'm going to have to balance him out with a little bit of shaping, but I won't go in with a ball tool. It'll take too long. So if you're in a rush and you need to shape things out, your hands are always going to be your best tool. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to put it lengthway. I'm going to put his body onto it, and I'm going to roll his body and shape it around my finger. So the reason I would do that instead of a metal handle is that my finger has got some give and it won't crease the paper, it won't crush it. So what I can do is shape that as I'm going round. Similar sort of thing with his head. I'm going to pull his ears forward because he is super cute with his little, look at his little lugs, pulled forward, and I can just shape out his face just by rocking. Remember, with paper we can just do a little rocking motion, it'll give you a little doming out. So that's a really quick way to shape it if you don't have ball tools and you're not interested in doing it that way. It'll just give you a bit more dimension.
And remember, this is all about a family Christmas, the family of the foxes, the family of the deers, and the family of the robins. They're the main characters, and of course the nativity characters.
Do you know I've only just put that together in my brain?
Really?
No, I knew.
It's the babies and the mother and the dad. Family.
Of course it is. Of course it is, Dave. Of course it is. I didn't know.
A festive family, yeah.
So because we've got the pin flare and he sits up and his little ears are pulled forward, so if I pull them even more forward, you'll be able to see it more on the overhead camera. And I just pull him upwards. Can you see? We've shaped that male deer underneath, a little bit of shaping of him on top. Can you see how that 3D element now comes through? All that shaping, the time we took on that deer at the back.
But also the positioning that you've done is perfect, because the daddy deer is looking down at the little baby. The mummy is checking on the little baby next to her as well. They're almost making eye contact, aren't they?
Oh, they're so sweet. Right, ball tools. So I've got this shaping here. I won't go too much into this, but just to say, Dave was saying, well, how do you pick which size you need? I'm now working on a much smaller piece. I'm working on this tiny flower shape. So you've got the 8 sizes that you're going to be able to pick from here, and the idea is that you need to make one that's appropriate for what you're doing. For the centerpiece, I know visually, and you'll learn visually too, that this mid-range here, so it's not the biggest of the small ones, it's the mid-range, so of this, you know, you've got this size here, and I'm going to use that for the center. Okay, so if I just go into the center, I stand a good chance of creasing my paper. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just take my outside edge, just follow it round, nice and easy, keep it going round, keep it pushing, and go round. That's all we're doing. Break your edges first, then go in with your center point. Okay, and that's going to create, now you can see the dome coming. Can you see as I sort of manipulate that paper, it is rising and rising into a cup. And that's what we're doing with that paper, so you get that beautiful dome. And that's how we create it. Remember, edges first, then work your way to the center. That's going to give you all the give that you need on that paper fiber. What I'm going to do here is corner this out. There's too much green, there's too much white, and there's too much grey, and I personally love that, but there's not enough colour to distract me from what's going on, and so you stand the chance, if you're using those shades, to just allow it to diminish into the background. We don't want that to happen. I've got choices here. What I can do is go into this corner and this corner to prepare it out, and that is an option for me. The reason I'm not going to do that is because her ears are going into this corner, so I'm going to mismatch. So what I'm going to do is use the 2 bottom elements. I'm not going to randomly put them there. What I'm going to do is put them facing into the card. So I've got that beautiful Christmas element. They go in, they draw the eye into the center of that card.
Do you know what? That makes
just the different way.
All the difference, doesn't it? Having that splash of color left and right. Yeah,
well, you know why,
difference.
don't you? Because prior to me putting those on there, it wasn't a Christmas card. It was a winter card.
Right.
And this is what we mean about this whole collection not being a Christmas collection entirely. Parts of it are, but not all. But as soon as I place these on, we now have a beautiful, really gorgeous Christmas card.
And it's the poinsettia that's made it totally Christmas. Now, I've got to remind you, you could be making beautiful cards just like this, just by getting in contact with us today. Remember, this is exclusive to Carnation Crafts TV for at least a couple of weeks or more. If you want to order it today, you can order it on our website right now, of course, which is carnationcrafts.co.uk. There's another live show coming up at 4 p.m. UK time this afternoon, where Carla is going to be demonstrating, I presume, something similar to this, because it's going to be our deer again, I believe, with the fantastic manger. But remember, you're going to get the nativity scene with the characters that you expect. That's in there. You're going to get all of these wonderful animals and their families, the youngsters and the mums and the dads, with the deers, the foxes and the robins. You're also going to get, of course, all these other fantastic die sets, including the church, including that fantastic Christmas 3D background that you can see there as well. And up here, of course, we've got the Hellebore as well. All of that comes in the main collection, but we do have smaller collections on the website. If you want just the nativity on its own, you can buy that. So the nativity is coming up just now for you. There we are, look, $59.99. That gets you the manger, all the accessories that you need, and of course the characters. The other collection is just the animals on their own, the deer, the robins and the foxes. If you've fallen in love with those, and who hasn't, everyone has. $49.99 for all of those, 220602. And then the other collection that we've got for you is everything except the nativity. So you've got all the animals, you've got all the wonderful towns and everything else, the town dies, it's all there for you, $159.99. Provided you're spending over £25, you're going to be receiving a bonus from Carnation, which are the 2 Santa's hats. And also the artwork for that is on the website that you can print off as well. And the idea behind that is the Santa's hats fit the heads of the robins, the foxes and the deers perfectly, like we showed you before. So if you do go for anything today, remember it's free P&P if you buy the main collection in the UK. Don't forget that important 10% discount code, which is CCFC10. If you put that in the promo box before you check out, your price will come down from $199.99 to $179.99. And you can also use that promo code on any of the items that are in this show today. That will give you 10% off anything that you choose. You can choose and pick individuals, or you can go for the smaller bundles, or if you can afford it and you want to go for it, go for the big bundle, which of course is everything you see here before you. And you'll look forward to having many hours, many weeks of making and having fun making Christmas cards from Carnation Crafts. So we're going to take a short break at this point. Thank you, Carla.
That's all right, love. Thank you.
We're going to be back in a couple of hours at 4 o'clock with another demonstration, so make sure you join us then if you can. See you later on.